Question 6 says that given that PQ over AB equals QR over BC equals RP over CA, write down the values of x, y, and z. And x, y, and z are the angles in each case, and these ratios that they've given us correspond to the sides of the two triangles in each part of the question, and they tell us the ratios and the equalness of these ratios that the sides are in. So let's look at part A. To start off with, part A says that PQ, so this side here, over AB, this side here, is equal to QR over BC. So that's saying that those sides are in equal ratios. The second part says that QR over BC is equal to RP, this side here, over CA, this side here. So those are the corresponding sides that are in that ratio as well. And so that tells us that these two triangles are similar because all of their sides match up with the same ratio. And since they're similar, that means that they must have all the same angles, same values for their angles. And so we just have to figure out which vertices correspond in each triangle, and that'll tell us which angles are the same in each triangle. So looking at this first ratio here, this first letter P and A are the corresponding vertices. So A corresponds to P here. And here Q and B are corresponding vertices as well. So I'm going to put a box around Q and a box around B. And of course that means that R and C must be corresponding. And so we can use that to figure out what the angles are in each case. So for X, that's Q, it has to be equal to the corresponding angle in the big triangle, and that's 60 degrees. It's B. So X has to be equal to 60 degrees. For Y, that's vertex C, sorry, and it corresponds to R, which is 50 degrees. So Y is equal to 50 degrees. And Z is P, which corresponds to A, which is 70 degrees. So Z is equal to 70 degrees. And so we're just going to do the same thing in each of these cases for each of these pairs of triangles. So in part B, if we do the same thing and figure out which sides match up with these ratios, we get again that A and P match up, and B and Q match up, and C and R match up. So in this case, X or Q matches up with B, which is 30 degrees. Y or R matches up with C, which is 85 degrees. And Z or A matches up with P, which is 65 degrees. Part C, A and P match up, B and Q match up. So X, which is P, corresponds to A, which is 65 degrees. Y matches up with C, which is 40 degrees. And Z is B, which matches up with Q, which is 75 degrees. And in D, matching up those vertices, you get X, which is Q, matches up with B, which is 110 degrees. Y is P, matches up with A, which is 35 degrees. And Z is C, matches up with R, which is 35 degrees as well. So you can see that even though it might be hard to visualize the orientation or how to match up the orientation of these triangles, simply by knowing the sides and assigning which vertices match up in each case, we can figure out what the angles are in both triangles in each pair. So those are the answers to question 6.